Sarah Palin over the weekend was in Vegas. I barely missed her.
Once again.
Yeah, it would have been fun to hang out. She was at a real estate convention. And
so I want to hear what you got to say about real estate.
Yeah, well, apparently you're not alone. So did other people, except that's not what they got. She did a speech. Of course, she was paid $100,000 and first-class flights and sometimes private jets, depending on which coast she's going to. But I believe for Vegas, it's just a first-class flight, top-of-the-line hotels, etc. And she wants bendable straws. Okay. Now, it's not that much to ask for, so I got no problems with that. So they pay her all this money, right? And she comes and gives a speech, and come to find out, she said almost nothing about real estate. And now people attending this speech were upset, and somebody called it borderline train wreck, and somebody else called it disastrous, right? And an industry blog said at the end, she mentioned so little about real estate, one passing reference to shopping centers and to retail real estate, otherwise nothing, just a regular stump speech about how Obama's a socialist, etc., right? He said all she had to say was something about carried interest so that she'd win the crowd over and be like, yeah, totally. And then she can raise a lot more money. It would have been smart. It would have been savvy, right?
And it wasn't just...
and to give us a sense of, something about real estate, right? That we didn't totally waste our money.
And where she was the shopping center convention. So she could have talked about retail. She could have talked about, real estate. She could have talked about interest. She could have talked about loans. There was so much for her to talk about.
Just give them 2 or 3 paragraphs. I mean, it's just smart business, right? That if you're at that particular convention, you talk about their issues so you get them riled up, right? And wanting to support you. Yeah. Instead of, shopping centers, that's cool. Okay, anyway, so back to Obama.
I go there to buy my straws.
They're bendable. So at the end of the industry blog, they write, as it stands, I do not know if she knows what carried interest is. Of course she doesn't know what carried interest is. You have any... I can't believe they thought she did. She has no earthly idea. But what amuses me about this is, good, you wasted your $100,000. I hope you're happy about it.
Right, and these are people who I would say generally, and this is a generalization, but I would assume that they're, predisposed to liking Sarah Palin, that they're in her party and that they support her, and the policies of her party have probably been more kind to them. And I'm generalizing there, but that would be my guess. She let them down too, which is great. So finally, she's letting down the base.
Right. Well, and of course, it's because once you get her in a room, you go, oh wow, she just doesn't know anything, right? Yeah. And that winds up hurting her. Look, the real estate group would have been better off giving me the $100,000 when I was in Vegas last week. Let me play some blackjack. Maybe I return a good return on investment for you guys.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
I'll split the winnings. Yeah. And as it stands, I actually won last time. Think about it.